Dare to Disagree, your weekly episodic podcast where we, a bunch of regular Joes with brilliant ideas, tell you guys exactly what you're fucking up with your life so that you can fix it and be cool. I'll be your host out of California, Jonathan Nestor.
This is Alone in the Dark, also in California, but don't tell anybody because I'm not trying to see anybody out here.
This is Puppet Master, and don't worry, I don't plan on seeing anybody I know out here.
Yeah, I'm on Madden.
What did you say? I don't even know what he said. It just sounded racist.
I'm on Madden. That's what I said. Madden.
Oh, Madden.
So don't mind me, I'll be on hiatus.
Man, the English.
I thought he said he was mad. I don't approve of mad black people. You know?
I know, right?
I call the cops when I hear.
Well, I call the cops as I hear black, but
Don't matter their demeanor. Fuck that.
Like you hear stories
Somebody's
about it in
here.
California, like old white ladies calling the cops.
there's
like,
a guy
"There's a
outside.
black
It's
man."
kind of dark. I think he's black.
He looks, how would you say, urban? Street?
I don't know what the proper word is.
But I'll kick off the first topic because I don't know how long I'll be able to hang on. Okay.
Go ahead.
But it's actually about that conversation me and freaking Slow Chemical were having about the whole issues going on in Missouri at that Missouri school.
Yeah.
With the president of the school having to resign and all this crap going on. Now, here's something about that has been bugging me for a long time, and I couldn't really, not really about that situation, but about situations like that, which is, I couldn't think of how to put it in the right words, but what it is people seem to believe if you are the victim of some injustice, you are completely unable to be victimizing somebody else. And that shit is 100% wrong.
Yeah.
Okay?
Agreed.
Like, I'll give you an example, okay? With all these refugees getting freaking kicked out of their countries by all that fuckery going on out in the freaking Middle East and shit like that, right?
Yeah.
Mind you, these people are really, getting screwed over by overbearing governments. You know, these governments, revolutionary, nobody gives a shit about the civilians. Collateral damage, fuck it, we're doing it. You know what I mean? Like, the government and the revolutionaries in a lot of these goddamn countries are like how little Israel and Hamas cares about Palestinian lives. Neither one of them gives a shit, you know? They'll kill as many of these people as they need to get their way, you know?
Yep.
So these people are getting evacuated to countries that will whatever countries will take them in. You know, Germany took them by, there's a couple other countries, but the story specifically of mine came from Germany, which is they set up all these refugee camps, right? Mind you, these people have had to flee their country on foot and book ass into other countries that, a lot of people, even in Germany, a lot of people were not happy about these people showing up. You know, they were not happy about all these people coming into their country, okay? But most people understand these people are fucked, you know? A lot of their family has been killed due to the freaking civil wars and all this stuff. Their homes, their property has all been destroyed. These people had to leave just with what's on their back, you know? Terrible position to be in, okay? However, in these refugee camps, the countries are trying to police them, which is, of course, being difficult. There has been cases of refugees attacking other refugees because of their different religions, or a refugee is gay, or something along these lines. These people who have just been through a country totally fucking them over and victimizing them are now like burning people's feet while they're asleep and beating the shit out of them outside. You see what I'm saying? Like, these people who should be in a position right now, like, holy shit, this is terrible, we should try and get along and not just fuck each other over, are fucking each other over as hard as they can. Now, I'm not trying to say, this is even a majority of the refugees or even a healthy percentage, but there is a bunch of them who are victims of a freaking bad thing going on and are in turn victimizing other people. Okay? And how this relates to Missouri is, I was kind of, at first, I didn't understand what was going on. Like, a lot of these websites who did the write-ups about that situation were totally fucking garbage. Okay? I mean, like, a lot of what they were saying was, yeah, somebody pulled up, yelled some obscenities, we have no idea who this guy was, now the students are demanding the school take action. It's like, what? They don't even know if that guy was a student.
And that was off base, too. Or it was off campus, too.
Yeah. What is the school supposed to do about that? But looking more into it and talking to freaking So Chemical about it, I see the issue. That was an issue, like the straw that broke the camel's back, but there had been bitching way before that. Yeah. You know what I mean? And the school was doing nothing. Here's the school, and the school's like was the whole time putting their hands up, like, well, what do you want us to do about it? But I guarantee, like, if the football team started losing, the school would figure out a way to fix that. Okay? This whole situation, they're pretending they have no power, no ability, they can't do anything about it. That's stupid, At the very least, pay these people some fucking lip service, Give them the freaking, we're gonna go get them fucking speech, even if you're not gonna do anything. The school didn't even fucking spend a moment doing that. They didn't even take the time to bullshit these people, let alone do something fucking significant, So I understand why these students got pissed, okay? Another thing that I love is that student boycott, or the athlete boycott, because that now can be a tool in students' freaking arsenal to actually make a school pick up and have to listen. They estimated with those students boycotted a game, it would cost the school $1 million a game. And that's just counting the game. The amount of damage taking them out of being in contention for the playoffs or anything like that, that's even more damage that would happen to the school. Long-term damage. A lot of students pick a school, and a lot of parents pick a school by how well the football team's going. If your football team sucked ass because your students boycotted it, you're going to lose a lot of revenue because a lot of students aren't going to want to go to you. Fuck it, I'll find a school that's going to have a good football team. It isn't going to have these issues. I'm trying to get in the NFL. I can't take time with this. I'm going somewhere else.
Yep.
So that was a great maneuver on their part, and one I hope to see more often. Because a lot of schools have just been like, fuck you and your problems. Give us our money. We'll deal with you how we want to deal with you, and if you don't like it, you're out of here. Now you have to come to the table and talk with this new idea. Okay? The issue I had is looking up videos of these student protesters. There's videos, and one I shared with So Chemical, of these student protesters harassing other students, threatening them, and intimidating them. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Like, one of them was this little Asian kid trying to do a journalism thing. He had a camera, and he was trying to just take pictures of, there's some fucking idiot doing a hunger strike.
Yeah, it was actually, he's a senior in their journalist department, and it was a freelance piece for actually ESPN.
Yeah. And my thing is that kid had every right, as much as those protesters did, to be there. And he was trying to tell them, the rights that you guys have to be here is the same ones that protect me. That's why I'm allowed to be here. Because those students outnumbered him by 100 fucking people, they were intimidating and shoving him out of there, they were literally violating this kid's constitutional rights. Little on the fact that this is a paying student on his campus. There was excuses, well, they didn't want to talk to the media. Fuck what you want. I don't care what you want. You don't get to go violate somebody's constitutional rights because you want something. Go fuck yourself. But this just shows, here are these students, while complaining about the majority of people, white people, people in power, blah, 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 harassing them, the minorities. The moment that they were put in a majority position and they had a minority to harass, they took that shit and ran with it.
Mm-hmm.
They immediately just, everything they talked about, how, everything should be fair, people's rights shouldn't be violated, just because you have the power to harass somebody doesn't mean you should. They shoved all that shit down the trash when they started harassing other students for having the same rights that they were asking for. You know, they complained about when they stopped that president, wanted to talk to him, he called the police and had them dragged out of there, right? They said that was just totally fucking ridiculous. This student comes over to take photographs of him and to be in his campus, they shoved him out of there and freaking were threatening him, you know, putting their hands on him to get him out of the way. What were you?
Yeah, it's like a misdemeanor assault, really, if you want to go that route.
And I'm pretty sure if the kid wanted to push it, which he, you know, to his credit, he didn't want to push it all. He was doing his damnedest to not make himself part of the story.
Yeah.
You know, those students made him part of the story by freaking harassing him, getting physical with him, shit like that, threatening him. They forced him to be part of the story. Even afterwards, he was doing his best to get out of it. You know, this isn't supposed to be about me. This is supposed to be about the protests. You know.
Yep.
So that's kind of my issue here, and you see it all the freaking time. People search for some way how they're the victim, and then turn around and harass somebody else. You know, people get this idea in their head
they bitch
that
about their rights, and then they turn around and violate the rights of the person that they feel is persecuting them. Yeah,
and you know, I've talked about this before, and I'm sure I pissed off some people, but the black community has a big issue with them complaining about being marginalized in society, and then turn around and they are, as a group, one of the biggest people fighting against gay rights.
Homosexuality, yeah, oh yeah. I mean, if you
I understand you don't like these people. That's not, it's against your religion, whatever. But the moment you start trying to take away their rights, guess what? There's a lot of people that don't fucking like you guys.
Yeah.
Do they get to take away your rights because they don't like you? There's a lot of people who believe in the Bible black people are the cursed people, the people who are marked, the mark of Ham, or whatever the fuck.
The mark of Cain.
No, well, there was two.
Yeah,
some people believe that, but there's another one for Ham. Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
The Mormons believe that, the mark of Ham, that the Ham got freaking marked by God, that turned his skin black, even though that doesn't say it in the Bible at all, Not that the Mormons really care what the Bible says. And that's why for, 100 and something years, they were freaking being real shitty to black people, not letting them be part of the church, not freaking, I mean, even there, when you go and see a Mormon, congregation, you'll see, 600 Mormons together and, 3 black people dotted in.
Tokens.
It's hilarious,
You know what I found amusing about the Missouri thing was that professor that actually was instigating quite a bit of that. She actually got relieved.
Yeah.
That's good. I didn't know she got relieved.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, but she wasn't she was like a assistant professor. She was on a trial period anyway. And after that video came out, they rescinded her the authorization for her to work within the school.
Well, thank God she wasn't tenured. Otherwise, they probably couldn't have done shit to her,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but yeah, she was
that's
just
kind
an
of my
assistant
point.
professor.
Is it doesn't matter if you're a victim, you can still be viewed as victimizing other people. Israel, and I know Israel has a huge, there's many people on most sides of that issue. But in my view, here these people are who went through one of the worst atrocities in history, who should know, and this isn't, something that happened centuries ago. There's people still alive who went through the freaking Holocaust,
Mm-hmm.
Here they are victimizing other people. Now, I'm not saying Palestine is 100% freaking victims and they're not fucking doing their fuckery, but the way Israel is responding to it, in my opinion, is, hey, they pricked my finger, I'm going to go fucking burn their house down. If you look at the amount of Israelis that have been killed by Palestinian action, Hamas and all that shit, it's like you could count them on one hand, and the Palestinians, the Israelis have killed is, in the thousands, tens of thousands,
Entire, generation.
I'm a firm believer in the head for a hand type thing, man.
Yeah, I understand that.
It shuts that shit down. Look at that. All he did was slap him on the hand. He cut off his head. Well, guess we won't do that again.
Maybe we should calm the fuck down. So that's kind of my entire point. It doesn't matter if you're a victim. You could be a beaten woman. You could be a freaking abused minority. You could be some guy who's just been taken freaking advantage of. you can still go out and be a fucking aggressor to somebody else. If you figuring that out, and somebody had a good quote, which if I was on my computer, I'd look it up. It was something along the lines of people love nothing better to feel like they were hard done by. Because the moment they feel hard done by, they are just relieved of any responsibility for their actions anymore.
Yep.
Well,
And that's how people do it. If I could find a reason I'm the victim, then I don't care about anybody what I'm doing. You can't judge me for my actions because I'm the victim here, you know?
I don't know what that feels like. I'm white. I'm not allowed to be a victim.
Damn right. But that's it. That's my fucking rant. You know what I mean?
It's a fucked up position to be in because you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. They didn't even hesitate to turn around and oppress that kid. And anybody who watched that video, you can't deny it. It's clear as day. But it's messed up too because it gives people that wanted to stifle this issue so
An
much
excuse.
ammunition.
Yes.
So much ammunition. So now this one incident, which could be people involved in the school, could be fuckery, whatever, it now has made it so those people can go, you know, this is just another one of these race issues where they're abusing the privilege because that group did do that. It's not the broader picture, but that single moment absolutely devastated an entire campaign, you know?
Yeah. And
So
that's wrong of people to do, to like, okay, I saw them do this, so now I'm going to disregard anything they said.
Yeah.
You know, that's just you looking for an excuse to not have to address the issue, you know?
Exactly.
So I understand that point of it, but they did it to themselves.
They did.
You know?
But then there are other issues that come to mind too, and for me, again, this doesn't justify their actions at all, or the actions of anyone who have done anything like this. But when you have an issue like this, how do you stop the crowd from going radical without a central leadership?
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of like Doug Stanhope when he was talking about Occupy Wall Street. He's like,
Yeah.
they're out there saying, you know, we don't got no leadership. You could have fucking used some.
Yeah. It's one of those. It's unfortunate because it's one of those things where the only way for a movement like that. Okay, the quintessential example, Martin Luther King. If you're gonna use this example, the reason those protests stayed peaceful was because one guy in the group that everybody respected was like, "This is the line. No matter what they do, we don't cross this line."
Right, but they had leadership at Missouri. It was that assistant fucking professor telling them to get these people out of here. They had the wrong kind of leadership. They trusted in the wrong person.
I mean, you see stuff like this. You see stuff like because the Missouri thing is really not that different from the Baltimore riots thing. From the inception to the culmination, it's really not that different because it was issues that were going for. Oh dear. Co-conscience is laughing a little bit. That's a problem.
He's just laughing. He's just laughing because he has ass beat at Madden again. Don't.
When the Baltimore native finds it, God damn it, the Cowboys.
I just can't win. God damn it!
It's like in Black Dynamite when Nixon can't punch cardboard cutouts of Black Dynamite. His blackness is too damn strong. But anyway, I was saying, it's like in the exception, there were tons of other things going on in Baltimore. Nobody in Baltimore was shocked by the riots. No one. But the culmination gave a lot of people the ability to ignore the main issue, which is there is deep-seated, deep-rooted bias and stereotype issues and race issues. You know, not something that's going to go away overnight. Something that really should be sat down and discussed. You know, as an entire community. You know, it can't take one person coming to the table. Just like this Missouri thing. As you said, once you speak to co-conscience, you realize, again, straw that broke the camel's back. But now they have a beautiful moment where everybody is there. The eye of the country is on them. They're having an effective change. They've actually got these people to go in the right fucking direction. and these fuckheads just ruin it with this dumbass action.
I love how you set the stage for that. That was perfect.
Just fuck. It was terrible, man. Because
Everything's perfect. The eye of the nation is on them, and they fuck it up.
They really did. It's so funny because when Alone in the Dark posted all that stuff, I found myself again. It's like whenever I walk into these places, like in a Starbucks in the morning after an Obama speech, and I listen to these white old men just froth at the mouth. Like, it doesn't matter what the fuck the speech was about. They're just frothing and ready to go. And I'm sitting there just going, now you've put me in the terrible position of defending this guy that I'm not that big of a fan of.
Yeah, and that happens to me a lot because, like, somebody asked me today, do you like Obama? I'm like, no. You know, he's done a whole bunch. My issues with him was that he is just another establishment president.
He is.
Everything that people want, you know, that Bush was doing, he just continued doing. You know,
Yep.
he complained about domestic surveillance. That's gotten way worse in his time.
Worse.
You know, way worse. He complained about the Bush administration not being transparent. He has been one of the most secretive freaking administrations in our modern history.
The debt ceiling, not passing a fiscal budget. He is the worst perpetrator of all of that.
Man, nobody wants to hear your opinion on this, okay?
I know, because I'm a white man. It's cool. I wish I had my computer on me. Like, I would totally put up a meme I found.
But
It's like the three requirements.
He pulls up a podium.
The issue that happens to me is when I hear people bitch about him, it's about nothing that he should be bitched about.
Yeah.
It's like he's trying to take away our guns. What law did he? He talked about it. Yeah, he definitely would want some gun control, but he's never actually done anything. He would love to. I just don't think he has the power to. What are you complaining about? Just because he wants to, but he doesn't? Man, if that was something you could complain about, my wife would have to complain about me wanting to fuck every beautiful white woman I see in Colorado. Okay, I don't do it. Think about it all the time. So that's what. Or he's a Muslim. My two issues is, number one, no, he's not. You were already complaining he spent 30 years in a racist church, remember? So now you can't have both of those running at the same time. And number two, who gives a shit if he's a Muslim? We have freedom of religion in this country. There should be no religious test to be president. You're complaining about something that is totally fine. It's like, man, you know what? Obama likes Budweiser. I don't give a shit.
That's pretty bad. I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't vote for him for that.
That is pretty terrible too. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't care, but still, that's fucking horrible.
And here's the whole thing about the birth certificate too.
It was just, ugh.
At the end of the day, I don't even care if our president is an American citizen, as long as he does the job effectively. They could go snatch somebody out of the fucking Congo and put him as president. If he does a good job, I'm down for it, dude. Do your shit, I don't care about if he's a freaking citizen. That's the dumbest requirement I think we should, especially when all of our first presidents were not citizens. That's not a freaking. That's a waste of my goddamn time. Okay, or not citizen, but I think George Washington wasn't born in the U.S., was he? Maybe I got that wrong.
One of them wasn't. I know one of them wasn't.
George Washington or anyways. I don't care if he's born in the U.S. That is not an important fucking thing for me. How about instead of that being a rule, how about we make sure this guy has a master's degree in economics? Master's degree in foreign relations. Let's let these guys have to get massively educated to even consider being a president. Those are rules I want. I don't care if he's what age he is. I don't care where he was born. Shit is not important to me at all.
What his current political record is.
I think most citizens who come over here and fight to be American citizens are way better Americans than somebody who was just born here.
Yeah, they usually know more than about American history.
Yeah, think of the average American was given that nationalization test. They're not going to pass it.
There is a reason why, though. You have to understand. Well, actually, you don't have to. America is the biggest player on the stage. If you're anybody else, it behooves you to know them thoroughly. I knew more about American history by the time I was hitting freshman year in high school than I did about my own country's damn history.
Your country has history.
I must
No.
say, you guys have a
We do.
you guys have a government? What?
Oh my god. That history lesson must be
It's
short. It's like,
unbelievable what we do.
okay, open your
It's short.
trifold.
You know what's funny? You know what's hilarious about that? We're still on our second president.
Really?
Oh,
God
God.
damn.
Dead on it. Oh, quick mention. We're a democratic country. We have an 8-year presidential term, but we love our president so much. We've been re-electing him for 20 years.
Damn.
Isn't
That
that
doesn't-
strange?
That doesn't sound bad at all.
I know, and I know. I was old enough in at least one election to remember one election, one of his competitions, quitting because of potential threats.
God.
Couldn't imagine it happening.
Potential
So do you guys-
macheteing.
Did you guys get my text on the Hangout?
Right now? Let me look.
Yeah. Perfect.
You got something to chime in about this, there, Puppet Master? And no, we didn't get anything.
What? All right. Chime in about what? Your country? Your country? What about your country?
I think
How
he was
exist?
talking about cold
How much
conscious.
you love it, man? No, I was talking about the Missouri thing.
I already put my pieces in a couple times.
Nah,
Yeah, dude.
just making sure if you had anything else.
He said the hell
I
with
guess-
black people. That was it.
Isn't that always his stance, though? Always.
Hey,
Hey, you know what? Tell you what, it seems to be serving Slow Chemical good. You know, like he has the same stance, and he's been just loving life.
He really has. He really has, man. Ever since he quit black women, it's not even black people. He just quit black women, and he's like, my life is tenfold better.
Yep. It's funny because his life expectancy probably jumped up by like 15 years too. You know.
So that kale that he's gonna get fed by all these pretty white women. All right, man.
All right.
That is true, by the way. But I have a topic, but it's a quick one. It's a question, actually. Now, did you guys hear about this whole NFL money and veteran stuff?
Yes. Yes. Well,
right.
it wasn't just the NFL. It's like the
It was a couple of these.
baseball, soccer, hockey, the works.
All of them do it, but I'm gonna focus on the NFL because they're the ones I have the money information for. But from the jump, let's go ahead and put that out there. Every sport, every major American sport that has any kind of military show or like honoring the veterans thing is allegedly so far responsible for it. The only people that have been name checked for sure is the NFL. The NFL, they've had numbers and all that put in, but there are other numbers they're being verified right now.
about what?
So, you know, in football games, when you see the camera pan to a military family that has a free seat in the audience, or military members that are at the front row and they say, you know, salute the veterans kind of thing.
Okay.
Or one other one is, hey, the kid comes up to catch the baseball, and it's his dad who just
Yep.
got back from Iraq. Oh, look at them hug each other. That's the other one.
You remember those?
Well, yeah.
How much do you think that costs to do?
Well, no. I'm well aware that we pay for it. It's a marketing scheme. It's part of recruitment.
See, that.
There's a budget for this.
Oh, yeah. Most Americans weren't aware of that until very recently. They finally released that information out. And as you can expect, a lot of people aren't happy. For example, if we're just looking at the NFL,
Well, here with some of that, I'm not so sure that correlates, because some of that, like, they'll give a certain amount of free tickets to the military to go to those things. That probably has a lot to do with, this is just an assumption, that the military's paid for a spot and the show and then during the game for a pan to pick up a view of the military members and whatnot, or, you know, the colors and all that crap. But I can't guarantee that. I don't know about that. But there are a lot of things that we do have a budget for in the military for recruitment alone in sporting events.
And that's fine. The issue people keep bringing up though is it was never publicized as such.
Well, another issue,
Well,
I think the bigger issue
hold on a sec.
is
If we're going to get into
ridiculous amount of
total
money.
transparent, if we're going to get in total transparency of where the government spends money, the last place you need to be looking is at a sporting event in the military recruitment money. That stuff, they get a certain amount, which is literally a small percentage of what we do in the military, let alone the federal government is wasting money in so many other places that we aren't transparent. So I don't really feel that this should be the issue. If we want to talk about transparency, you got plenty of other places to start when it comes to money and the federal government.
Agreed, but you're focusing on the fact that you're focusing on the view from the government aspect. What people at the NFL games, or what, well, actually, these were government members complaining about it, so technically they are taking it from your view. What people on the internet are kind of in a tizzy about right now is from the NFL perspective, what it looked like was a pro bono move, a genuine
we respect
troop.
our troops
It was,
type move, you know.
They were basically saying
So
that
this
even
is
if
a
that is the
bash
case,
on the NFL and not
this is
the
a
federal
bash
government. I mean,
in general who do this, because to them it's what's the word I'm looking for? Not mischaracterization.
Misrepresenting? Or?
Misrepresentation, yes. It's misrepresentation. Because what they were saying is, what you're saying is fine. If they had publicized it as brought to you by the Navy, brought to you by the Army, something like that, that's fine. But when you have these heart-touching moments, and that's what the people are complaining about online, if you have these heart-touching moments where a military veteran comes back from Iraq and meets with their kid, we're thinking this is the NFL doing its part to support the veterans. Nobody
I don't think that
imagined
not
this
one
was
bit.
the
That,
government paying for the NFL to do this.
well, no. See, here's the difference. I at no point ever thought, even before that, this could even before I even had an inkling of how things went. All right, never once did I had a thought of the guy or a thought of the NFL when that shit went down. Not once did I think about, oh, that's pretty cool, the NFL. I don't give a fuck about the NFL. The heart-wrenching moment is real, regardless, no matter who paid for it. That shit was real. That kid felt that moment. That dad felt that moment. That shit's real. I don't give two shits who paid for it. I don't care who facilitated it. The fact of the matter is that is a real fucking moment. That moment was real. It doesn't matter.
But I think the issue people have is that's a real heart-wrenching moment for this child and this family that is just a marketing ploy. You know, it's kind of like a abusive. Well, you know, I'm totally. I don't know if the kid knows it, but it's almost like
the kid doesn't need to know that. The parents are the one to make the decision for that kid.
We're using this family's heart-wrenching ordeal to market this, you know. And
right.
The issue for me is, like, I have no problem. I understand that the military needs to advertise, okay? My thing is, it's a little different from putting a freaking U.S. Navy thing on top of a NASCAR, along with all the other sponsors. I could see the difference people feel about it than abusing this situation. Well, I mean, that's how people are coming at it. This is an abuse of this situation, this family situation, for a marketing ploy. That they're being. My bigger issue is, and I wish I could see the breakdown for it, but the amount of money they were paying for that was obscene. And the amount of money that they have accounted for is not even all of it yet. You know, they've only gone through like 60%
where's the argument?
of the documentation.
You just put two different arguments together. The abuse of the family. I guarantee if you talk to any of those families, not a single one of them felt that they were abused by the situation. So the fact that anyone else feels that this family doesn't really fucking matter because they're not that family. All right? So it was it abused? Probably not. When you talk about the other topic, money, all right, well, that's a whole different story. But the abuse thing shouldn't even matter to anyone except for the family, because if they don't feel abused, it wasn't abuse.
Exploitator would probably be a better word for it.
Yeah. Well, but still, if they felt that way, then yeah. But you can't tell the family to feel that way. That's like
like,
telling somebody who got drunk and decided to fuck some guy, and her friend the next day is like, you know what? You totally got date raped. No, I got drunk and fucked some dude. No, really, you got date raped. Oh, okay, I got date raped.
No.
So if a woman is getting the shit beat out of her, and I go, hey, you're in an abusive relationship, you should probably get out, and she goes, no, he loves me. I'm wrong.
No, that's not the same thing.
Here's what we're not
But
saying.
that's how she feels.
Nobody right
Because
now.
one's true abuse. One is physical abuse. They beat the shit out of her. You could prove that, right? You can't prove the other. You can't tell this family that they were emotionally abused or exploited if they didn't feel that way. If they didn't feel that way and there's no physical evidence and there's no physical act of it actually happening, then fucking who are you to tell them that they should feel exploited?
Nobody is saying that the moments were real. Nobody's saying that. When they pan to the camera...
So is the argument the fact that we're paying shitloads of money for this, or is the argument that the family was abused? That's the question. Because there are two completely separate issues you cannot put together.
That's what I'm leading to. When they pan the camera to the military members in the front seat in the audience, and they're sitting there and everybody waves and salutes, that's a real moment. The crowd feels it. The military members feel it. The tickets were probably free for the military members. I don't know about you guys. I know I've at least been to one event that was free because I was a military member. I've at least been to one.
Was it a Braves or was it one of that baseball game down San Diego? Because I don't count that as a fucking sporting event. Those people suck.
Point. But that's not the issue here. The issue here is...
Y'all better time out. You better watch your fucking mouths, because I'm a baseball player, goddammit. You get paid a lot of goddamn money, so shut your mouth. And,
The rise. The argument isn't that the moment isn't real. No one's arguing that. And obviously everybody agrees the military should promote itself, and there should be transparency in the government. The problem is, for people aside from guys like you, Puppet Master, who has a name like Puppet Master because you're Puppet Master?
Yeah.
I don't know. People like you are naturally attentive to this kind of thing, but most people are looking at that as a beautiful moment that is not manufactured and paid for to become beautiful.
Well, no, hold on.
Granted,
it's still a beautiful moment to me. Do you understand that it?
Yeah, no, I got you. No matter how
the fact that it was paid for and that the NFL took money for it doesn't change the fact in my eyes it's still a beautiful moment. I don't give a fuck about the other people who are involved. I care about that kid and that family and how they felt at that moment. That's what I care about. To read into anything else, fucking now I'm nitpicking. Do I want to believe in the moment, or am I sitting here just wanting to fucking come up with reasons why I shouldn't feel that moment for what it really is?
Other taxpayers disagree, and they have the ability to disagree.
This goes back to a statement. This goes back to a statement that came from your mouth there, Alone in the Dark. Is once you pay those taxes, that money's no longer yours, so it shouldn't fucking matter where it goes. That actually came out of your mouth one time.
No. You mistaken that. That was everybody's money now. See, what people were complaining about is you pay taxes, and now I get to decide what happens. No, everybody gets to decide. You know, if people vote that whatever, we're gonna go send this money to go help fucking bumfuck country over here. Yet I don't like it, but we have to make the decision. You know. Now
no, we don't make any decisions. Congress does that for you, and they never do it right.
Yeah, but so are our representatives, right? We voted them in. I mean,
right. Unless you're voting for first, and then that'd be the first guy to waste your money too.
What is it? Are you a conspiracy theorist, Puppet Master?
No. Here's my bigger issue with those things being paid for is, in my opinion, it did a whole lot more to benefit the NFL and whatever sports teams did this than it did to really promote the military. So it's like we were paying cash money for the NFL to be promoted, but we were paying the NFL to be promoted to look like the good guys, look like the altruists, look like these freaking, you know, hero-loving freaking industry. We were paying them money to promote themselves.
But here's the thing. Fucking, I don't think they didn't promote them, because to me, I don't think of them that way. Like, I watch football to watch a football game, and that's it. I don't think about how, oh shit, look at that. That's so sweet that they fucking have this family. No, I don't fucking think that way because none of that mattered. So did they really promote themselves? I don't think they did. I don't feel any.
Who cares what you think?
Well, exactly.
Here we go.
But
Here we go.
I don't think that majority of people really thought, oh, that's fucking awesome. The NFL did this. No, they didn't. And if they did, they ignored the moment for what it was.
And that's where I actually think.
Well, I mean, what about Applebee's? Like, they give discounts every Veterans, or, free food every Veterans Day. I think that makes Applebee's look good. But if I found out that the military has been bankrolling this situation the whole time, well, that's not Applebee's doing it now. That's just been bought and paid for. That was just a service that they provided.
I go to Applebee's, I eat my free food. You know what? I don't give two shits about Applebease.
I don't go to Applebee's because there's veterans there on Veterans Day, so I don't do that shit.
I'm just saying, like, I don't see the relevance of that. Get on you, Applebee's, woohoo! It doesn't make me go to Applebee's any other time of the year that I wouldn't have already gone to Applebee's. It didn't change anything for them.
I mean, I think they get a decent benefit out of it.
I think in a league that is scandal ridden with beatings and rapes and all that stuff, that's great PR for you.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, am I really
Those things don't register on the same level with me.
Am I really panicked about this situation? No.
Nah.
If the military if that's where my tax dollars are going, man, they could do so much fucking worse with my tax dollars. Okay? And they are doing so much worse with my tax dollars. So I don't really give that much of a shit about it. But what I would have liked to see is this was brought to you by the military to facilitate promoting the military.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I think most people took that as good on you, NFL, for spending the time, spending the freaking marketing time, all this to do the good for this family. No, if they're being paid to do it, the military who paid for it should be the one showing. Yeah, this has been sponsored by the Marine Corps. This has been sponsored by the Navy. Show my sponsorship here. I paid for it. Let people know, so it's actually benefiting the military.
I can see that point, but other than that, I don't see how anything else is relevant.
No. That's literally.
I see that point.
That's the only point that everybody.
I completely see that point, but the rest of it I don't, because we're going to pay for it regardless, one way or another. And like I said, the amount of money that we spend may seem like a lot, but really it's a drop in the bucket. When we're talking about the amount of money that is misappropriated throughout the entire government that is not transparent.
Beneficial to us at all.
Yeah, and we're sitting here talking. Well, you know what? It was beneficial. You know why it was beneficial? That boy and that family have an unforgettable moment. The Marines or the Army, the soldiers or the airmen or the sailors sitting in the fans or sitting in the stands, that is an unforgettable moment for them. So was it really worthless? No. Actually, I think it was probably a pretty damn good thing for the amount of money that we spend on it compared to the amount of money that we waste on other bullshit that we never see any kind of results for.
What I would love to see is just how much each individual thing costs. Like if it's a let's say the whole stands thing, the things in the stands, if that cost me like $2,000, cool. If that little, dad throwing the softball pitch to his son thing, if that's costing me like, $7,000-8,000, cool. If they're paying like $140,000 for that scene, you know what? that might make me a little freaking apprehensive of it. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's kind of a cool thing for the kid to get out on the field. The family's, getting all the. At the end of the day, it still could be worse.
The moment is still real, yeah.
But I would like to see a breakdown of it, because if it's costing just a couple $1,000s for that, yeah, fuck it, I can take that.
Let's think about it. Let's think about it in terms of who makes those decisions. It's still not military that makes that decision on their marketing scheme. They hire for that. It's politicians that help with that. So we're still back at the same problem that we were in to begin with. Especially, I mean, shit, you were deployed. We paid fucking 3 times what we should have paid for a fucking knife. We know this. There's nothing new.
I was gonna hint at it. I wasn't gonna say it.
So the problem really starts at the politician level. this is minute. This is a special moment, and it should be looked at that way. If we want to talk about fucking saving money and money being spent in inappropriate ways, let's start with the federal government. Let's start with Congress. Let's start with the President of the United States. Let's talk about those guys who make the budget, who actually don't make the budget plans, because we have failed to do that for the last 8 fucking years. But just that is where it's at. It's not here at this little level of the fact that the military paid to watch this little boy see his dad for the first time in fucking 6 months to a year. That's not a problem. To me, that's not a problem. The problem is further up the chain.
I think a bigger issue, though, is I wish they could start picking better-looking kids. I mean, some of these fucking kids, Jesus, like, goddamn, I'm wondering why this guy even came back, Fuck that kid.
Alone in the Dark is starting to cuss at kids live. That's the sound of
if I'm paying money for this, give me some Gerber baby or some fucking good-looking kid, I don't need fucking ugly-ass Timmy out on the goddamn baseball field.
Military dad's ugly. So that's our cue. This has been Dare to Disagree. Happy Veterans Day to us and to y'alls. I've been your host out of California.
Yeah, and by the way, if you guys want to send me anything for Veterans Day, go right ahead. I'll leave a good address. It'll be freaking what's his name, Jonathan Esser's address, because I'm not giving you fuckers my address. But I'll leave you guys an address. You guys can send me shit for Veterans Day if you want to. You guys have the freedom to send me shit because of my service.
That sounds like a sign out by Alone in the Dark, Puppet Master.
It is Puppet Master.
It was bound to happen. It was bound to happen someday. Cold Conscience, you've been verbose the whole time with your Josh Homme like smooth moves.
Yes. What I was about to say, I was gonna say to Puppet Master that white people. So why are white people so angry? Like you're so angry for nothing. You're white. Smile. Just be angry as shit for nothing. Just man, listen. You're white. You got half the world. You got the medicines. Calm down. You get AIDS or something like that. You're probably not gonna die because you're white. They're gonna give you.
Yeah. Well, what you don't understand, Cold Conscious, is they actually gave us all white people the cure already. Like I got it in my medicine cabinet just in case.
Exactly.
We got to keep that on the down low, though.
Exactly. You non-rhythm, non-melon heaven motherfucker.
Did you say non-melon or non-melanin?
Melanin, melons, both. You don't got both.
That melons. All right, I wanted to make sure. That's been the show, ladies and gentlemen. See you next time. Happy Veterans Day. Jesus.